AJ, why did you even come to the wedding? Didn't I?
deeply affected by everything that happened. He seemed quite down, struggling with the aftermath of the ordeal. Fortunately, his husband and younger brother often took him out, helping to distract him and provide emotional support. I believe that, with time, the wounds to his heart will begin to heal. David is an important brother to me, and I sincerely hope that he will find happiness in the future. I truly wish for his well-being, and I want him to experience a peaceful and fulfilling life moving forward. One where he can leave behind the pain and suffering that this situation has caused. Though the ordeal has been traumatic for all involved, especially David, I hope he will come out stronger from it all. I know that with time, the love and care of those close to him will help him heal. The road to recovery may be long, but I have faith that he will emerge from this dark chapter and find a future filled with joy and stability. Looking back, I can't help but think of how this situation unfolded. Melissa's actions, her unwillingness to take responsibility, her constant excuses, only made things worse. She continued to ignore the impact of her actions on those around her, especially David, who has always been the kind of person to carry the weight of others' problems without complaint. It's heartbreaking to think that her decisions caused him so much pain. Despite everything, I am grateful that David has the support of his loved ones. His husband and younger brother have been a great source of comfort during this time. They've been taking him out, trying to help him forget, even if just for a while, the heavy burden he's been carrying. It's clear that, while the emotional scars may take time to heal, David is surrounded by people who care for him deeply. As for Melissa, her path is unclear. She seemed to have no awareness of the consequences of her actions, and it remains to be seen whether she will ever take accountability for what she's done. But one thing is certain. My family will no longer suffer from her choices. We are all moving forward, stronger and more united than ever. David, however, remains my priority. I've always cared deeply for him, and seeing him in pain like this has been incredibly difficult. He's always been so selfless, so giving, but now it's his time to heal and take care of himself. I will continue to support him in any way I can, and I hope that, over time, he finds the peace he deserves. Melissa's actions, however, will not define David's future, though she may have caused significant harm. I believe in his strength and resilience. He's been through so much already, and I know that he will find his way out of this darkness. The road ahead won't be easy, but I have no doubt that David will overcome this and find happiness once more. Looking to the future, I'm determined to ensure that David's healing process is supported by those who truly care about him. He deserves nothing less than happiness and peace. And while we cannot undo the past, we can control the future. I will be there for David, as will others who care for him, ensuring that he never has to walk this difficult road alone again. Melissa's mistakes have had a ripple effect on many lives, but I truly believe that David will come out of this stronger. I hope he continues to heal, both emotionally and mentally, and finds a sense of peace. I pray that he is able to build a life where he can leave behind the scars of the past and focus on a future filled with love, joy, and fulfillment. David deserves that, and I will stand by him every step of the way as he moves forward. Looking back at everything that happened, it's almost hard to believe how much we've been through. The situation with Melissa was incredibly difficult for all of us. At first, we never imagined it would escalate to the point it did. It was a series of poor decisions, one after another, that led us to this breaking point. Melissa's inability to take responsibility for her actions only made things worse, and it was painful to watch as she continued to avoid any kind of accountability, despite the harm she caused to so many people, especially David. David, being the kind and thoughtful person that he is, had always been the one to try to protect everyone. He was the one who would shoulder the burdens of the family, trying to make things easier for others. And yet, it was as if Melissa completely disregarded the impact of her actions on him. She treated the situation as if it was someone else's problem. And that made everything so much harder for David. To see him, who had always been so strong, crumble under the weight of it all was heartbreaking. But, at the same time, it was clear to me that David's strength came not from bearing the weight of everyone else's problems, but from his ability to rise above them, no matter how hard life got. The most difficult part of all this was the way Melissa treated her own family. To think that she would drag David, and even the rest of us, into this mess because of her own selfishness was incomprehensible. She had the power to stop everything from spiraling out of control, but she chose not to. She chose to deny her own mistakes, to ignore the suffering she was causing, and ultimately to let everything collapse around her. The way she responded, with nothing but excuses and blame, only made it harder for anyone to understand how she could have acted this way. I couldn't help but wonder, did she ever care about the people around her? Did she care about David, the brother she once knew, who was now suffering because of her actions? For David, it wasn't just about the financial strain or the legal consequences, though those were significant. What hurt the most was the betrayal. His trust in his family, in his marriage, was shattered. The person he had once loved, the woman he had shared a life with, had done something unforgivable. And even more painful was the realization that his family, the people he trusted to support him, had been pulled into this mess by someone who didn't care enough to stop it. But even in the darkest moments, I knew that David had the potential to heal. It wasn't going to be easy, but he had always been resilient. He was the kind of person who, despite everything, kept moving forward. There were days when he would fall into despair, days when he didn't know how to pick himself up, but he never let that stop him. With the love and support of his husband and his younger brother, I believed that David could find a way through this. They were his anchor, his safe space in a world that had suddenly become so uncertain. I knew they would stand by him, no matter what. It was also clear to me that David needed time. Time to process everything that had happened. Time to let go of the hurt and disappointment that Melissa had caused him. But I had faith that, over time, the pain would lessen. He had been through so much already, and I knew that he had the strength to move forward. I could only pray that he would find peace, that he would come to a place where he could forgive, not for Melissa's sake, but for his own. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.